I personally think Anthony Joshua would put him in a, I don't want to say the word a coma, but I'd put him to sleep within 1 round. Welcome to Doc's Cast, the boxing channel. I was at the fight on Saturday night. I'm still not right. But we're going to talk about a few things today that's after coming up in boxing news in the last few days. Mick has been doing Mick's up for this today now. There's no doubt about that, and he'll have a lot to know. He's been watching everything during the week on YouTube and what's been said and stuff. So it'll be interesting. Even me, I'll be new to some of this. We'll talk about the fight first, obviously. On Saturday night, Mick. What did you make of it?
There's only one thing you can say. Usyk is a class act, Paul. So the things I thought would happen nearly happened the opposite way. So I thought Alexander Usyk, with his age, 38, was going to show some decline. I thought with Dubois, with the run he's been on, and the strength and the size of him, he'd catch him, But straight away, in fairness to Dubois, if anyone watches the fight back, he did go in on the first bell and he did try and take the centre ring. Usyk definitely knew this big brute of a man is coming towards him, and he stuck a few jabs into him. And towards the end of the first round, he was actually pushing Dubois back. So all you can do is take your hat off to Usyk, because that's not easy to do against a big man like that, And it was his little movements. And I seen a different side to Usyk this time as well, where he wasn't just on his toes. He was planting a bit and he was moving Dubois around with little movements. Lovely boxing. And he was countering him. He was making him pay for everything. And I think Dubois then started going into himself a bit and realizing that, this is the same as the first fight, In the third round, Dubois gave it another shot, came back a little bit. I think that was the only round that you could even give Dubois a chance.
Yeah.
In the fourth, then Usyk started taking over again, and in the fifth, Usyk just showed his class. There was a massive gulf in boxing IQ quality. Usyk is just a class act, and at 38, and you know something, Paul? He looks stockier.
I was just going to say that to you.
He looked a bit stockier, and
apart from the scales, obviously there's a difference, but they actually didn't look in the ring.
Yeah,
Usyk did look stronger.
He did, yeah. He looked like a bulkier fella, like as if he's coming into that weight really well. Set a few traps, and then he went straight into the fire. He didn't step back and let the bigger man bully him.
Yeah, I wonder, was that a tactic? Because as you said there, Dubois actually did, because that's what everyone's saying. You have to go in and mow him down, and that's what they say about Usyk. And I think Dubois tried to do that in the first round.
He did, yeah.
But your man, as you said, met him there.
Yeah.
And maybe that was part of that. He just kind of wore him down that bit quicker.
100%. If you watch Usyk walking out to the ring, his demeanour, he was going in there to do a job. There was no messing. He was laser focused. He's a serious fighting man. He's as game as they come. He's a class act. In and out of the ring, he's just a class act. And I bet against him twice, Paul. I thought Fury would beat him, and I thought Dubois would beat him. And yeah, I know how good he is.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes
but I just thought size has to come into play and that. But look, he just showed that it doesn't. And he called the punch Ivan, which was very funny.
Yeah, I know.
Brilliant.
I don't
think he caught Fury with that. And he caught Dubois with it, and it's a great punch. And Paul, he stepped aside he brought Dubois into that punch. Dubois was standing straight.
But sometimes you could see Dubois reaching.
Yeah.
And every time he'd be on the end of it. And Usyk could just Dubois, and then he'd come back himself.
Yeah. And I actually think that Dubois, if that was in slow motion, he seen the punch coming, and because he was square, there was nothing he could do. He knew it was going to land, and that was it. He was gone, Paul. And look, there's controversy about him, bottling it and stuff like that. And I just think, Paul, deep down he thought he wasn't going to be able to beat the man. But look, I'm in no position. I like watching boxing pundits who were boxers speaking on this because I believe they have the right to speak on it. I'm not a heavyweight world champion. I don't know what it feels like to get that thump. You get what I mean, though, Paul?
I know.
So I'm not going to get into that about the lad.
100%. No, I think when we say quick, I don't like, and I've been questioned. I said in the last couple of podcasts ago that that's always been questioning him. I don't mean it as in he's getting in. He's a brave man, but I just think at that level and stuff is there just that
but I think as we were saying in the previous, I think he's a harmless enough lad.
Oh no, Jesus, no, that wouldn't be
nice. He's a nice fella. Like look, maybe his team's tactic was wrong. The don't push the horse, and they did.
But I don't think
I don't think that was Dubois. It wasn't him himself. And I've seen a lot of people online really sticking it to Dubois after the fact. Like they never said a word before it, but to come out after it and they know lots. And these are fellas that never put a glove on in their life, that wouldn't fight sleep. But they'll come out and really down that lad. Paul, at the end of the day, Dubois is still a top 5 heavyweight currently.
No doubt.
And you put him in against most of the top 5 heavyweight, he's going to punch holes in them.
Yeah.
He just came across a fella that's just simply too good.
Usyk is kind of a big distance between Usyk and Rest, and I agree with you that. Yeah. If it was anyone else, the fight would be closer no matter what.
100%. Look what he did to Joshua.
Yeah, I know, yeah. Nobody predicted Mick. Even, look, I was told, I drove to a town the other day and I was thinking for half an hour and I was getting excited in the car.
You felt more like he was going to stop him.
I felt like he was going to stop him.
Yeah.
Now, I still got it wrong because I felt he was going to stop him late. I don't know anybody that told me, they'll tell me after it, but no one ever told me before that he was going to stop him early.
Yeah.
Because
Dubois has a good chin, like.
Oh, no doubt. But no one predicted that he was going to stop him early.
No.
I thought he was going to, like the first fight, I just thought this is why I thought Usyk was going to win. There was too much of a difference with him in the first fight.
100%.
I just think he was that level above him. And that's nothing wrong with that, because as you said there, Usyk's a one-off. And any other fighter would have been a tough fight for any other fighter. Dubois would have put it up to any of them. Usyk has proved that he's an all-time great. Yeah. And it's just unfortunate that he's after coming up against him, I guess, now.
That's it.
I didn't think he was going to take him out as early.
No.
I thought he would have just tired him down the stretch. But because he came out and met him in the ring, and he did.
He did. And Paul,
the pace of the fight.
Exactly. That's what I was just going to say. He's seen Dubois breathing heavy. I think that third round, he's seen it. He knew then.
We even seen it in between the rounds. Yeah. No, I watched the highlights last night. I watched the fight again, and after the second round, they didn't show the corners. Now, of course, he went a couple of rounds after this, but we could see in the screen in the corner.
He was breathing heavy. You could see it.
And I just thought the pace must be hectic.
Even the sweat on his back, and you could see it. He's feeling this. And Paul, he's 27 years of age, and he is fit. He trains hard. He's fit. He just came across a better man. And Paul, this is the laughable thing about it. There's no shame in that.
Jesus, no,
he was bad. He gave it a go. He wasn't good enough. That's it.
Yeah, look, exactly. And I just think, as I said, it was a different golfing class between them.
But
that's not just
different.
That's not just Dubois.
Yeah,
that's everybody, as far as I'm concerned, when it comes to Usyk.
And Paul, as I said in our previous chat, I watched the first fight back and I said, Jesus, he bet him easy. But I still thought, my logic was, this man has to age, and Dubois has to have gotten an awful lot better. He is going to catch him at some point, but he didn't. And the golfing class was massive. But Paul, it shows you, and to any young fellas out there boxing and that, follow Alexander Usyk.
100%. He lives
the
man
life. Who's training properly. He's the man who eats properly. He doesn't take any shortcuts. He doesn't make any excuses. Yeah. He doesn't duck anybody.
Yeah, no.
He's the real deal.
Even when he beats his opponent, sometimes in life, he
doesn't.
He just goes over. He's a gentleman.
He's a gentleman, yeah.
And we can't fight, and we're worse. We're blackguards. But now, Mick, this is because again, I'm trying to catch up on things since I come home. I haven't been watching much YouTube. Watch a few clips here, and you sent me a couple of clips today. I got to see bits and pieces. Now, the pre-fight atmosphere and party. This is what a point made in this, because, as I said, we knew this was a talking point. What was supposed to have happened before the fight?
Simon Jordan of TalkSport did an interview with Spencer Oliver, Joe Parker, and the other heavyweight, Okoli, and Lawrence Okoli, and basically he told him that he had it, that there was an after party, or sorry, a pre party, right, at Dubois' house. They couldn't believe it. They were shocked, and they're professional top 10 heavyweights. Couldn't believe it. Lawrence Okoli says he wasn't there. You know, you can hear him saying that. As in Dubois, he wasn't. Surely he wasn't there. So anyway, he opened out the point he was making, and he basically said, and not only that, but Daniel Dubois wasn't overly happy. He asked his father, could he go for a drive to get away from things? And then when they got to Wembley, that Daniel Dubois' father wanted this entourage to get in. The security weren't letting them in. He said he's not going to fight. If they don't get in, he's going to call the fight off. So a lot of mad stuff. But since then, I seen the interview with Don Charles. And Don Charles is making no excuses. He's basically saying that as long as his man comes 2 hours before the fight, he's happy enough with that. That's enough time for him. A lot of people disagree with that, but he's happy enough. He's the trainer, that's it. But he said a similar gathering, he didn't call it a party, he called it a gathering, a similar gathering of people were there before the Joshua fight. So when I heard that, I went, right, that's fair enough, because obviously it worked for that. It didn't work for this. That's the bottom.
We wouldn't have heard about it if he beaten Usyk.
If he beaten him. So look,
do you think it affects?
I think it's strange. I do think it's strange. Carry on to be going on with, but I don't walk in their shoes. I'm not in their camp. I don't know what goes on. And at the end of the day, it didn't affect them in the Joshua fight. All the experts, Paul, boxing people are saying it is strange. It definitely is strange.
Do you think that's Usyk's call or his father's? Like, I mean, or not Usyk, Dubois. Yeah. Do you think it's his call?
It seems to be his father, but Dubois leans on his father unbelievably so. And I've listened to everyone I could being interviewed. As you know, Paul, I sit down at night and I follow up on everything. And they all just say that anyone who's trained with Dubois in camps, and his father is just there literally guiding him along. Like, I think Dubois just really relies on his father and goes with what he goes with. Now, the thing about it is, Paul, when Dubois walked out for the Joshua fight, he was really rose up. And they reckon it's because of that. Maybe, Paul, he doesn't want to sit in a dressing room for ages. Maybe it gets into his head. Maybe he needs that G up. Who knows? We don't know. But at the end of the day, I think that a lot of that talk is just tarnishing the fact that Usyk was just streets ahead.
I know, they're going on about it a bit.
Nothing would have changed the outcome, Paul.
Yeah, I've seen on YouTube a few videos, the headlines, of course. That's what they're talking about constantly now, is this thing. Okay, maybe it might have slightly hindered his performance, but not to the point.
No, it wouldn't have changed.
It wouldn't have changed a thing. No. But it is strange for a fight at that level, like a world, like undisputed, like there's no bigger out there.
No, and I'm sure Frank Warren is going to sit down with Dubois' team, and I'm sure there's going to be a real strong conversation had, because at the end of the day, he's the one who invested in him, and it's up to them to see what way they move forward from
there
here.
Seemingly now again I haven't really or know much about it. I've seen something being said about commotion between rounds.
Yeah, there was but Paul, it's the same thing again. There's a huge crowd in the corner for all the fights shouting instructions at Dubois, and it seems to be that Dubois constantly looks for his father, not the trainer, and that's it. But that worked for him against Hrgovic, Big Baby Miller, Anthony Joshua. It's the same thing. So it's not as if we've seen something new. We haven't. If the result had to have been different, they'd be geniuses. So it is what it is. It was bet by the better man.
That's fair enough. Now, I want to talk about this, which I think is completely stupid. Again, but then it's all about money. We're going to talk about Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua because they're seemingly it's very, very close. I personally think Anthony Joshua would put him in a, I don't want to say the word coma, but I'd put him to sleep within one round, if the truth's been told. Anthony Joshua would absolutely crucify Jake Paul. I can't even understand I'm even talking about this. And that's been straight about. Now, obviously, Jake Paul is great for sales and all that, but to me, maybe, but I don't enjoy watching these fights, and that's personally. I mean, maybe some people do. I don't know how they would. Mick, Jake Paul, Anthony Joshua.
Paul, I think Jake Paul is a smart operator. He's got himself fights and decisions that, he's cherry-picked people at the right time. He brings a lot of eyes to himself and what he's doing. I thought it was a disgrace that he faced off with Usyk after the fight. It really annoyed me. I didn't like seeing it when Joseph Parker was there in the background. It was disrespectful to Joseph Parker, who should have been facing Usyk off. And even I seen a video after it where when Usyk was walking out and the door was still closed and his team was walking out, just Usyk and his team, before the door opened to walk into Wembley, who was on the sidelines? Jake Paul, his wife, and a security man.
Into the fight.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. Like this fella's getting, A-class treatment, and it just shows you because of it's all about the money. It's all about the money. If Anthony Joshua doesn't put him into orbit in the first round, then it has to be a fix.
Of course it is.
But it shows you, Paul, what the world is coming to. But I think a stop needs to be put to it.
I was going to say to you, yeah.
Hopefully Anthony Joshua will put the stop.
But this is what the thing, 100%. Anthony Joshua should be like a cartoon. You never see it when hitting. He should put him on the ring. That's that's the reality. That's what would really happen.
That's what should happen.
But I think it's a problem that all these because the power is with the top class box. They have the say. They're all feeding into it. I can't understand how no big top boxer is coming on and saying this is nonsense and money. But that's terrible.
There are a few. Carl Froch is. I really like Carl Froch.
Yeah, I love Carl.
Brilliant.
Oh,
he's straight out with it, and a proper fight man, a proper warrior. And like he's been calling Jake Paul out, rising him the hole. Why will he not call Carl Froch out?
Yeah, I know that.
Isn't it interesting?
Yeah, no,
because Carl Froch is 47. And Carl Froch at 47 would punch holes.
I know that. But the same thing. I give him one round.
He'd destroy him.
I give him one round. I couldn't see Jake Paul living with these top players. And of course, who knows what's been said, as you said before they're fighting, how long they can go on. Like this type of thing happened with McGregor and Mayweather, and Mayweather carried McGregor for that fight.
Of course he did. Of course he did. And I think the Mike Tyson fight was scripted.
But I give McGregor one thing: he's a fighter. At least he went out. Yeah. Jake Paul, well, in fairness, he's obviously doing well.
Same with people talking about the Francis Ngannou fight. Francis Ngannou is an animal of a man.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like he's a great fighter, but Jake Paul is a YouTube fighter.
Yeah,
he's a different type of fighter, And Paul, Tommy Fury bet.
I know that. Yeah.
Like if Tommy Fury can beat him and Anthony Joshua doesn't put him spinning in circles with a box, I don't know what's.
But I think there has to be an agreement made before this can't happen, Anthony. We have to bullshit it around.
Well, Paul, did you see John Fury coming out of Wembley, and Kugan Cassius pulled him and asked him about it, and John Fury looked straight into the camera and he says, "Anthony, son, don't take a payday to let this fella off the hook."
Yeah, no.
Give it to him.
Look, I think that the fact that all these top class, these boxers, the Joshua's, these fellows who have great careers, and the promoters, I know it's about money, but it should be a stop put. I think.
Paul, another rumour is that I heard during the week is that Alexander Usyk might retire from boxing and come back and have an MMA fight with Jake Paul.
Well,
so it just shows you the money though that's been generated by this guy. It is unbelievable, and it's all from his persona, his confidence. The way he puts things out there, he's a brilliant businessman, and the brother's the same. Like,
yeah, I get that. If I think,
but it's still not.
He doesn't excite me. His personality doesn't excite me.
No, nor me.
And his fights is brutal. Like they're terrible to look at. Yeah. So what is the selling point? How can people keep coming back to this?
Yeah.
Jake Paul is a great man to make money. There's no doubt about. And actually, for where he came from as a YouTuber, he actually looks decent for like himself. But I'm saying about at certain levels, I'd even say. Someone in the 20th, 30th ranking would bet Jake Paul handy. The fact that people buy it, people that feed into it, I can't see it exciting this side, which is his personality, and I can't see it exciting in the ring, and I just can't figure it out. But
Paul, it looks like it is going to happen. It's mental.
It's mental. It's a pity. And Jake Paul, Usyk, and there's a man who I love, Usyk. that he leave? Is he going to get involved in this? Like, is he going to play along? What?
Paul, they're going to cash in. And with the money that he generates, you're talking about generational wealth off one fight with this guy. And Paul, when he gets badly beaten, it's gone.
Yeah, but that's why they won't allow it to happen. Because you said it's over.
But Turkey Al-Sheikh, in his tweet, wants to see it done. And if Jake Paul is brave enough that he thinks in his mind that he can see an opening against Anthony Joshua, well, he'd want to go back and look at the Francis Ngannou fight, because he'll put him into orbit with a couple of punches.
I wonder how, they say there's money in these fights, and there's money. How much money does Anthony Joshua need? How much money does Usyk need? The money they're making, I understand that there's lads, there's still, like Joseph Parker deserves, as I said, a big payday for the fights he's coming. What are these lads getting the money that they're telling? I often wonder, the money they're telling people on us people, or they're getting this amount of money for the fights. I wonder, are they? Because they seem to be coming back and fighting Mickey Mouse enough fights for money. Are they getting this money, or are they just blowing it up to make us?
Maybe when they get to that stage of money, they want more. Maybe they see people richer than them, and they want to, they think they're not as rich as this person, and who knows? Money's a funny thing, but yeah, the principle should come into it somewhere along the line, and that's what I said to you. That annoyed me to see Jake Paul coming in and facing up against the best boxer there is, Alexander Usyk, and Joseph Parker on the sidelines. It just really annoyed me. Joseph Parker's a gentleman. Do you know what I mean? And he deserves a shot.
And even the fact that they're talking about Jake Paul, Anthony Joshua is a disgrace too, because Joshua would absolutely, as I said, crucify him.
Yeah.
Dillian Whyte now, Mick, and Moses Itauma. That's going to happen.
Yeah, that's coming up, Paul. Look, Moses Itauma has been touted as the next big thing. As we know, Paul, you have to see it. You have to see him going up through the levels and fighting real opposition who might test that chin of his and all. But look, he's looking like a fantastic boxer. He's getting rid of people easy. He's a nice fella. He's a nice way about him. He's a good, charismatic fella. And the sparring stories from all the top heavyweights is that he's as good as people make him out to be. But look, I like Dillian Whyte. He's way past his prime and his best.
I like Whyte.
But you give it a rattle. He definitely has heart. We've seen that in fights. He's beaten Parker. He's beaten Chisora. He's beaten Zhang. Or sorry, that's Parker. No, he's beaten Chisora. He's beaten Parker. He lost against Anthony Joshua, but he gave Anthony Joshua a good run for it. He's a game fella, And look, I hope he gives him a good run for it, but I can't see it going past 3 or 4 rounds. But
yeah, well, look, as you said, they're talking a lot about Moses Itauma to be the next big thing, which I'm sure it will happen. I'm sure he's going to win a world title at some stage. Obviously, I don't like getting.
But is the pool going to be different, Paul?
The pool will be different. There's no doubt about it. The pool will be different.
The fighters won't be there.
I don't know, Dillian Whyte. I always like Dillian Whyte. He's actually a likable fella if he listens to talk and stuff. I just feel maybe he's on the wrong side of his career. I just feel that it's a big name for Moses Itauma to get on his list, but it seems tailor-made.
But that's isn't it matchmaking, Paul, for him to get that name, so that people would say, oh look, he bet Dillian Whyte. Like Dillian Whyte, I seen him in an interview today, and he says,
but it's not the Dillian Whyte 3 or 4 years ago.
No, they're sending me out to the gallows to think that I'm, but he is going to give it. He is gamey. He is going to give it a good shot. The thing,
but his style is going to suit most of them for the big knockout.
It is, because Dillian Whyte's feet is his weak point. He's a great punching him, great left hook.
And the Povetkin got him
but Moses Itauma's feet look very good, and he looks very slick, and look, you imagine he's going to beat him, Paul.
I've seen the way he lost. He lost some weight, Dillian Whyte.
Didn't he?
I just seen it there.
He looks like he lost a huge amount.
Is that good though? At this stage,
that's the thing. He obviously feels that he might need to keep away from this fella and be a bit more fleet-footed. He's a clever operator too. He understands boxing, but as you said, he's on the wrong side of his career. And Paul, look, he said in the interview today he put it out there to fight Joshua. It never happened. He put it out there to fight Parker again. It didn't happen, and he got the offer. Derek Chisora was offered to fight first with Moses Itauma and turned it down. He was offered $2 million for the fight, and Derek Chisora rang Dillian Whyte and said, why are you taking that fight for? This fella's going to hammer you, you know. Funny, like.
Mm.
But look, Dillian Whyte probably, Paul, is saying to himself, with the landscape the way it is now, with my career, with where I'm at now, this is my best payday.
Well, sure, I think
you know,
he's on the way out.
yeah,
The man's on the way in.
yeah.
Um,
And he'll give it a rattle and see how it goes, you know. But you have to hand it to him, Paul. He's game. He'll show up and he'll give it his best shot, you know.
yeah. Look, I think it's going to be.
I think it's going to be, and it should be an easy win for
I think
Moses Itauma.
he's going to knock out Fury or White.
Yeah.
I don't know. Look, they're two boxers. I can't
Yeah.
be like. It's not like I'm talking about Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua. The mismatch there.
Yeah.
They're two. I mean, White is a top class fighter a few years ago.
Yeah.
Moses Itauma was up and coming, and it's all the hype about him. I'm sure he's going to get there. I just don't like people jumping the gun too early with him and saying, "Oh, he's going to be this, he's going to be that." I hope so.
Yeah.
He does look the part. And let's see. Turkey Al-Sheikh. Did he look
Turkey Al-Sheikh directly after the fight said that he wants Moses Itauma to fight Alexander Usyk. That's the fight that needs to happen next. I think, look, Moses Itauma wouldn't have a hope against Alexander Usyk.
Wouldn't be a hope.
Not now. Not a hope of it. Not after the display that Usyk put on there at the weekend. You're talking about levels now. It's a big stretch now. And like they're trying to throw the kitchen sink at this fella.
Yeah.
No. That's and I think Frank Warren, and I think it's Frank Warren's son that manages Itauma, and they're smart. They know, he needs to be guided up the correct way. But Paul, here's an interesting one for you as well. If Alexander Usyk relinquishes his mandatory, which is Joseph Parker, that means that Joseph Parker has to fight Moses Itauma for that belt.
I've seen that.
That's if Moses Itauma comes through Dillian Whyte, which we expect he will. Then Joseph Parker will have to fight Moses Itauma.
Yeah, I think Caballero a bit Moses Itauma at this stage.
Caballero?
Yeah, Caballero.
Yeah.
I think I think
Caballero is a great fighter, and he's a
I
great
think
body puncher. He's a tough, stocky.
Good footwork too.
Tough, hardy. He took Zhang as well, and Zhang caught him, Paul, and we know how hard Zhang hits. He got back up and he worked the body of Zhang, and he just
and he's a good trainer.
Murdered him.
I think I think that'd be a good fight for Moses Itauma to see where he really is. Parker's obviously a good Parker. We're always saying Parker deserves his shot.
Parker would be no easy task for anyone either. You know what I mean? Parker's a very good fighter, but the only thing I'm not happy about with Parker is that Parker was at his best when he was active. He hasn't fought now in so long. It's terrible.
We're just saying that,
and it's not from he wants to fight.
Yeah, no, because Usyk's just fought. So there has to be distance for him or time for him to relax and chill.
So how long is it going to go?
The story? When is something going to be announced with Parker? So the timing is all, and then Moses Itauma, as you said there, so he's already tied up with Dillian Whyte.
Yeah.
So Parker has to, analyze. If he loses that Parker, that whatever fight that may be, that's him. They're going to throw him out of the picture then.
Out in the wilderness.
But I do believe he's been done wrong to.
He is.
He knows himself. The politics, I don't know the politics of what's going on, what's been said, or what he's been told himself. Does he believe it all, or what? I don't know. From my, I seen an interview him the other day with what's your man's name? Ariel, is it the fella?
Yeah.
UFC fella. He didn't look too happy in it now, Parker.
No, because he knows. But the thing about it is, Paul, even to see Turkey Al-Sheikh coming out and making that tweak, and he's been great for boxing, but still you say to yourself, no, let's just bring it back into what's right is right. Never mind all this, it should be this. It should be the man who deserves his shot, who worked his way up to his shot, who's fought the hard fights, who's been the underdog in every fight, and who's come through it. He deserves his shot. So what's right is right. And I think they're underestimating the boxing public. That'd be a great fight. Like, people would like to see that fight. You know what I mean? Now, there was a big step down in money at the weekend because Turkey Al-Sheikh wasn't involved in that fight, which I find interesting as well. Why was he not involved in that undisputed fight? Nobody's talking about it. That's a strange one as well because it was for all the belts. And obviously, without the Saudi money, the money wasn't as big. But it just goes to show you, Usyk still went at it, and so did Dubois. So yeah, the boxing is the Wild West, Paul. It needs structure. You know what I mean? It's very unfair the way people can step over other people.
Yeah, I
You
know,
know,
yeah.
even when you think of that fight between Anthony Joshua and Daniel Dubois, Daniel Dubois was the world champion at that stage.
That's right.
Daniel Dubois was the challenger to that title, and he walked out second.
That's right, yeah.
Dubois walked
I know.
out first.
I know
Sure,
that.
sure.
I'm the boxer there. With the promoters. I wouldn't be too happy with some of the promoters if they were promoting me, and I felt that I'm being, you know. But again, they can say what they want to these boys, and they might believe it. I don't know. Yeah, there is something funny about it. I want to talk. Andy Lee is doing brilliant work now, isn't he?
Brilliant. I love Andy Lee. Gentleman, brilliant fighter himself. Great to listen to him. Great boxing brain. He's some brilliant fighters.
I love listening.
He has some brilliant
to
fighters,
him,
Paul, and he's brought some.
Even talk.
You know, Hamza Shearers.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Young Donovan. He is him fighting again.
No,
he brought him on from the amateurs. Obviously, he was in the corner with Tyson Fury, and now Joseph Parker. Like,
I wonder what he's thinking, because he's probably thinking himself, him being with Parker, that he's probably frustrated himself.
Of course he is. Of course he is. But he knows that there's politics involved in boxing. I still think, Paul, my gut feeling is still telling me that the next fight with Alexander Usyk, if he stays in boxing, will be Tyson Fury.
Yeah.
Because I just think it'll generate the most money.
Yeah, I hear you. And I just don't think there's no need for it because of the first two. But it's for money, yeah. Like, what does it...
I seen after the fight, Derek Chisora saying to Joseph Parker, you won't get the fight with Alexander Usyk because you won't sell it.
Yeah. I know, and isn't that the way boxing's gone? No matter, there could be the proper matchup there available, but if they don't have the personalities to sell it...
You have to have a needle, don't you?
Oh, no, see, it's all about the personalities too, no fighters, because
that's what I mean.
You have to,
and you have to get under someone's skin and then let it build and let it, you know, all the major fights, like even look at Ben and Eubank. Look at Froch and Groves.
Yeah, no.
Look at Wilder and Fury.
Oh, no, it adds a lot to
trash
it.
Talkers.
Yeah, it does add a lot to it.
It does.
The Eubank and Ben fight was a great fight, actually.
It was for the levels. Brilliant fight.
Conor Ben was saying the other day, I think your man's pulled out, hadn't he?
No, but it's negotiated now for November.
Okay.
Yeah, so it is happening in November.
Yeah, so I mean that's it's going to be interesting again the next few weeks.
So we have some good fights coming up, Paul. Like, you know, it's boxing's in a good place. Like,
yeah, I just like to see numbers come through. Like when this heavyweight era is over, which is as it's been, 15, 20 years ago, it was boring. I thought like the last 5, 6 years, 7 years, they've been brilliant, and there's been a great amount of them, and they're all great matchups. I just think when they all go, because they're all at the age now. Obviously, Moses Itauma he's only young and up and coming, but a lot of the ones we like has been around for. They all seem to be on the way out now. I hope that there's a good pool of them coming up.
Yeah.
But obviously we've other divisions and other fights to talk about when they come up. But yeah, so there's plenty to talk about in boxing. So we'll wrap it there, and we'll be back talking, I suppose, in the next few days again about other things. So make sure, like, subscribe, and yeah, enjoy the show. Good luck.